Hey guys, it's Peter. I wanted to just go over some defensive principles and concepts. We've been spending a good bit of time this winter on the defensive side of the ball. And so I just wanted to show you a few things just as we get going here. The first is in the press. And so when we are defending their goal kicks or anytime the goalie has the ball and they're in a build out situation, I want us to view these situations as times and opportunities for us to attack and create a turnover. And so this is how most teams will try and set up to build out. And so just to make it simple, and we went over this before, but the nine, let's have the nine be on the left side. The eight's going to be on the right side. They're going to be going one-on-one with their two center backs. And then our wingers are meant to match up with their wingers as well. On the wingers, like we don't really need to be goal side here. Like that's being too conservative. Again, I want us to be thinking opportunistically. And so we can, I don't want us to be in front of them, but we can kind of be here where if a loose ball pops out here, we're first to the ball. The six or one of our center backs, I'm going to call them the six, is going to match up with their eight. And then our lone center back is going to go 1v1 with the nine. You'll see the goalie here. We don't need to be sitting on our goal line. We can be out in case they do break pressure. We can be first to the ball and clear it away or try and connect. And so let's just say we play out here. Notice how the nine and the eight have been positioned at a little bit of an angle. And the reason is we want to encourage them to show them the inside. And so we don't want to be here. We don't want to be even straight on. Like, let's attack and approach them from an angle, giving them the impression that this inside area is free. And then from there, if it goes out to the five, the nine presses at an angle, they're either going to dribble or this pass looks pretty open and we want to invite that. And we almost want to bait them to play that pass. By the time they make it, boom, the eight's there, and now we have a one-on-one in a very vulnerable situation on the field for them, but a great opportunistic situation for us. And so here, even if they use the goalie, this is something we try and do when we have the ball, but like we'll take our chances here. We'll take 2v3, and then no matter what they're doing, let's say they bounce it out here, same thing. We want to invite that pass. We want them to make this space look like it's open. And same thing here. The six should read, kind of be on a side of the eight, and then not be afraid to jump that pass. And so that's the setup that we want to go with when we're pressing. And we want to try and, again, create 1v1s with their center backs or their eight. The other scenario in the build out that I want to go over is, and we'll see this from time to time, is when teams go with basically a three-back setup. We have this setup in, basically what we call kind of the alpha build out. And in this scenario, it's all right, we'll start everyone here because we have a build out line. And in this scenario, again, let's have our wingers just mark up with their wingers, just to keep it simple. Our nine is going to go 1v1 with their center back, and then our six with one of their midfielders, and this could be basically a winger, and the eight with their winger as well. And so we're just going to match up straight again, man for man. Our nine on their center back, our wingers on their wingers, and then our other center back or holding midfielder on their other players, and the same with the eight. They could be tucked in or they could be out wide. It all depends. But the point is that we're going to go man to man there. Same thing here. We want to then create a 1v1. And then the difference is as soon as they get pressed or as they play the ball, our wingers, we want to immediately take away these options. And the reason is because here we want to try and keep the five on the ball as long as possible for the nine to go 1v1. And again, same thing, we'll take our chances there. So So that's the, basically similar concept, trying to create a 1v1 for us in those situations. And then same thing, 6, 8, everyone except the 4 or the center back always needs to be goal side here. But here we can be opportunistic. Like, again, if something happens, ball bounce out, we should be positioned to where we can be first to the ball. Same thing with the 8, or the player over here, ball bounce out in the middle. Can we be first to the ball based on our positioning? So that's one scenario I want to go over. The other scenario I wanted to go over is, let's say they have broken pressure and they have some time and space. And so let's just use this here. So let's say the 7 somehow gets on the ball. In this situation, we need to immediately recognize who's the first defender. In this case, it's probably going to be the 6, just on how we set up here. And so the 6 needs to go in, be the first defender. And the thing we need to think about here is delay or attack. And so in a situation where, let's say, the 7 is facing their back towards the field, they haven't turned yet. In that situation, we might be able to attack and even create a 2v1 double team situation. But let's say they're facing forward and they have some time and space. Here, our decision might be to delay. It kind of all depends, but that's the decision that the defender needs to make, the first defender who's going to serve as first defender. Do I attack or do I delay? And so in this situation, let's just say they're delaying. Here, now we need to recover. We need to recover and we need to react to what's happening. And so if the 6 leaves their mark, we need to then respond and support the ball. And so in this case, 7's got the ball, 6 is first defender, the 9 needs to track back, 11's tracking back, 9 needs to provide the role as a supporting defender, same thing as the 8. Let's say the 8 sees the 9 is there. We don't need another defender here. We do want to get numbers around the ball, but we don't want to get too tight around the situation, but we do want to collapse. And so just think about that picture of the accordion. Accordion expands and it contracts. It expands and it contracts. And so when we lose possession, we want to contract and we want to shrink and really make their space tight. And so in this situation, if we can create this situation, I think we've done that, where the 9's recovered, the 8's filling in as a supporting role or a balancing role, 7 doing the same thing. And so we get as small as possible. And so first defender, support defender, balance, 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 right? So we need to work really, really hard. And just a point on that, it actually takes more thought and more kind of intelligence to be reacting defensively when we're against the ball out of possession. The reason I say that is when we're in possession, that's more exciting. That's more fun. We know we have the ball. What's my role? It's still something we're working on. We're not supporting space. We're not supporting the ball as fast as we need to. But the point is defensively, it's not as instinctive to be thinking what my role is. We tend to, not just us, but everyone at these ages, there's a lot of ball watching. We watch the ball, we watch the ball, we watch the ball. Meanwhile, the play is going on around us. And so we really need to be thinking, what's my role? And so again, just think first defender, support defender, balancing defenders. And oftentimes it will be not the first defender that wins, but it will be the support defenders that actually end up winning the ball, because balls pop out, lose spaces, they can't connect the pass, and we're on it. So that's just kind of some thoughts in the general run of play or in transition moments. And then the last scenario I want to go over is when we are defending in our final third. And this might be the most important as relates to game scores. And the concept here is we have to be really, really aggressive and almost desperate in how we think about defending in our final third. And the reason is because the game of soccer is giving away goals at these ages. And so what I mean by that is because of the size of the goal and the size of you guys as goalies, a shot on goal, particularly a shot on goal that's in the air, is almost always going to be a goal. And so when they have the ball, we have to do everything in our will and our ability to cover shots, to block shots, to get in the way of those shooting opportunities. And so, and some players, we've seen them on other teams, like they can shoot from range. And so we can't take anything for granted. We have to confront the ball and make sure that we're not allowing them to shoot on goal. And same thing here. Like, let's say, the 7 has an open shot, that we're able to defend that. They end up passing it off here. Our reaction's got to be quick. And so if they can circulate the ball faster than we can move, we'll tip our cap to them. But we have to make it really hard if they do circulate the ball for them to get shots off, and we need to be responding by getting in the way of those shooting opportunities. And so that's both in our defending area as well as obviously anything inside the 18. Those are high alert situations. We need to be defending and trying to block shots as best as we can. So those are just 3 pretty simple scenarios I wanted to go over as we get started here about some defensive principles. And I'll see you soon.